Since the inception of the West African Senior Secondary School Certificate Examination, university requirement has largely called for 5 subjects. Mandatory among these are English language and mathematics. Every year, thousands of students run into the cause of either having to resit for not getting credits on English and mathematics or painfully changing career path owing to same. To help modify this narrative, Star Television presents on your screen Learning Garage, a platform that guarantees better performance in English language and mathematics with a team of experienced teachers. To this solution, you all are invited, especially those facing WASC. Learning Garage comes to you on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Repeat broadcasts are screened on Saturdays from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. and on Sundays from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Join host Ali Sonta Kamara.
If you mean such element, then of course we'll say the waters of the world in that regard.
And Babatunde Gaira Lamin on these days to make a world of difference.
Fraction that has a numerator which is less than the denominator, we term it as a proper fraction.
Hello there. Welcome to Learning Garage 4th edition. I am Sonta. This is a program that helps you with your writing and your speaking. Today we are going to look at pronoun. What is pronoun and then why do we use it? We will look at one kind of pronoun today and then we will look at its structure, its usage, and then we'll have a look at some past questions regarding that kind of pronoun. And towards the end of this class, we will spend some time dealing with pronunciation, some tricks, having to do with pronunciation. So let's just start. What is a pronoun? We say a pronoun is a word used in place of one or more nouns or pronouns. That's the definition. It is used in place of a noun or a pronoun. But most precisely, we use pronouns to avoid repeating nouns. When you have a number of one kind of noun in one expression or several expressions, one kind, it sounds very odd, it sounds choppy. So pronouns are used to actually solve that problem. And here I have a very short passage to actually put this case into, in fact, perspective. Here we have Abu went to the market. He bought some oranges, but he hadn't enough money on him to buy fresh eggs. Unhappy, he returned home. You realize that, of course, we use Abu only once, and the remaining sentences coming after Abu, of course, each one has an element that represents Abu, but in fact does not actually contain Abu in reality. So, of course, he bought some oranges. He hadn't enough money on him to buy fresh eggs, and of course he returned home. So this E we put in these places are meant to replace Abu, and they are meant to avoid repetition. So the key element of why in fact we use pronouns, the key essence behind using pronoun is actually to avoid repetition, avoid repeating one thing over and again. Imagine we use Abu in all circumstances. What would it look like? So we have, for instance, Abu went to the market. Abu bought some oranges, but Abu hadn't enough money on him to buy fresh eggs. Unhappy, Abu returned home. So imagine Abu. It sounds anaphora. It sounds repeating the same thing, and that's one essence. One of the things why we of course use pronouns, to avoid repeating the same noun over and again. Now let's have a look at something that actually is very key on the pronoun antecedent or referent. Meaning, pronoun antecedent, the word that a pronoun stands for is what? Is called antecedent. The word that a pronoun stands for is called antecedent. Actually, in our passage, you realize he, in all the cases, we of course use it, actually represent Abu. Abu is a noun. So, of course, Abu is the antecedent. It is for Abu that, we have used he in all the cases. So, of course, Abu is the antecedent or the referent. So, a word that pronoun stands for is called antecedent. And it's very crucial. We will look at that one in our next class. Very, very important, because pronoun must agree with its antecedent both in number and in gender. And that's very, very crucial. Okay, for example, let me give you one example for around with this one, and then let me just tell you how it sounds very crucial at that. Okay, I like an actor who respects dash. I like an actor who respects dash. Let's say we have two there. Three there we have who respect themselves, who respect, himself, who respect herself. So we say pronoun reference has to do with the word that a pronoun stands for. So I like an actor who respects dash. So of course we have what? Actor. Actor is what? Is the antecedent. We say the pronoun should what? Agree with its antecedent both in number. If the antecedent is singular, the pronoun must be singular. Of course, if it is plural, the pronoun must be plural, of course. And both in number and in gender. So I like an actor who respect dash, okay, who respect A, themselves, who respect, for instance, B, herself, for instance, C, himself. What do you choose there? And if you say himself, you are wrong. And if you say herself, you are wrong, because actor actually is a general term. Actor is actually referring to male. Kind of male. Actor could be somebody acting. There is no actually, dictionary meaning will not tell you that actor refers to male actor. The male person who, of course, act. No. So, actor is a general term, and there is the rule. If you are referring to a word that is not gender specific, if an antecedent is not gender specific, for instance, actor is not gender specific, we don't know. Well, it is clear, in fact, that actor is not referring to a male actor or a male person acting, or shall I say a female person acting. Actor actually is a general term. So it is what? Gender neutral. So when a term is gender neutral, the best to use is themselves. You see? So I like an actor who respects themselves. So you see, so this is just to prove to you how important it is to understand pronoun and the antecedents. And the case has been, when you are actually dealing with such such issues, you actually have to have in mind the number and the gender. Very, very crucial. So we now proceed with the one kind of pronoun we have today. We are going to look at personal pronoun. Personal pronoun refers to the one speaking. The one speaking is the first person, the one spoken to is the second person, and the one spoken about the third person. And they could be singular or plural. So the one speaking, I will say I, singular. And it could be plural again. The one speaking will be we. So we are coming and I am coming. So we are speaking in this case, or I am speaking in this case. So it's the first person. So the first person could either be plural or singular. Plural, we. Singular, I. So the one speaking. Personal pronoun refers to the one speaking and the one spoken to. The one spoken to could either be singular, again, or plural. We'll say, for instance, you will come tomorrow. I will say you and I mean one person, and I will say you and I mean a number of people, of course. I will say, if I enter a class, and a very noisy class, and I want them to, of course, maintain, peace, I will say, for instance, you keep quiet. I don't mean one person, I mean the entire class in this case. So I will say, for instance, you keep quiet. Actually spoken to people, of course, in this case, not one. I would say, for instance, you will come tomorrow. In which case I will mean one person. So, of course, second person would also be either singular or plural. So, the one spoken to. And the one spoken about could also be singular and, of course, plural. He, she, it is the third person singular. He is coming, the one spoken about. She is coming tomorrow, talking about. It is actually fine, third person again. But again, we'll have element in this third person aspect that, of course, will denote plurality. Again, they will come tomorrow. Yeah, we don't mean one person, we mean a number of people, of course. So, or a number of entities in this case. So you see, so when you hear personal pronoun, the first thing to have in mind that a personal pronoun actually is actually referring to the one speaking, could either be singular or plural. The one spoken about, the one spoken to, second person, could either also be singular or plural. When we say you, it could mean one, or could even mean two people, or three or four, as the case may be. And again, the one spoken about, which we refer to as the third person. Again, having an idea about this issue of person is very, very key in writing. When you write, you may write in the first person. I went to the market. I saw Alpha. We spoke about our party. So that I went to the market as a first person. Stories and of course pieces sometimes be written in first person, personal pieces, and of course they be written also in second person. But it's very not common when you to find pieces written in second person, except the Bible and the Quran, where of course God is commanding, his servant. Thou shalt not eat this. Also mean you shall not eat this. So of course the direct kind of talk. So that one is second person. So third person, they are the kind of writing we find in novel. Abu went there, Abu saw Almami saw Karim, they went together, they play. You are talking about another person, the third person in this case. So also having idea about first person, second person, third person is a very crucial element. So you will be able to tell in which person a story is being told. Is it in the first person, the I, or we? Is it second person, kind of commanding? And is it the third person? So again, this is very crucial again. So by way of qualifying the importance of knowing personal pronoun, I've just shown you. Definition will say a personal pronoun refers to the one speaking, the one spoken to, and the one spoken about. But of course, they are placed into two categories. Those coming as subject, and of course, those coming as object. Meaning, all the elements you find here are the ones that you are to use as subject. All these ones. Here, from here to here, these are the singular aspect, and from here to here are the plural aspect. These ones here, the we, the you, the they, are the plural aspect. The I, the you, the he, the she, the it are the singular aspect. Okay? All these ones under this column supposed to occur in the subject position in a sentence. What is a subject? The subject of any sentence is the word that the sentence talks about. Is the word that the sentence talks about. Very, very essential. So to know about the subject of a sentence, you simply have to ask who if it's a person, or you ask what if it's a thing or an animal. So if you ask who and you have an answer, then of course the answer is the subject. If you ask what and you have an answer, the answer is the subject. So these elements we see under this column are in fact the element that should come as subjects. That's one thing. Again, they should come again as predicate nominative, meaning they can also be can come also after verb like is, was, are, and were, and refer back to the subject. Okay? These elements will come also after is, was, are, were, and the number of them, and they refer back to the subject. When they refer back to the subject by way of renaming them, we call them predicate nominative. Okay, so let's just proceed. So we say all the elements, all the types of personal pronoun we find under the subject column are the ones that should come as subject. Meaning we say the subject of any sentence is the word that the sentence is talking about. If it's a person, you ask who to know about it. If it's a thing or an animal, you ask what. Okay, so let's see here. And then we have here, I won the race. I won the race. I here is the subject. To know actually where is the subject, let's just ask question, who won the race? You will see, of course, I will, of course, come up as the answer. Okay, so to know about the subject of a sentence, you simply have to ask who for person and ask what for thing or an animal. Okay, so they cannot only come as subjects, they can also come after is, the element we put under subject column. can also come after is, was, are, and were. If they come after is, was, are, and were, and they rename the subject, meaning they rename the head of the sentence, they speak about the head of the sentence, they stand instead of that word, we call them, they are predicate nominative. And here you see again, instead of I won the race, what do you see here? The winner of the race was I. The winner of the race was I. You see, I is the same person as the winner. You see, and I comes after the linking verb was. I comes after a linking verb was. And what? It renames the subject winner. So of course, we call this I as a predicate nominative. So a predicate nominative is, a noun or pronoun that comes after a linking verb and renames the subject and talks about the subject. Nominative means noun that is serving as a subject, but in this case, in the predicate. What is predicate? Predicate is everything from the verb. The verb and everything after the verb is called predicate. I am not talking about the subject. Everything from the verb to the last aspect of the sentence is referred to as predicate. Okay? The simple verb is called predicator. So here also, was is a predicate, and I also is a component of the predicate. And because I comes after was, and actually I renames the subject, we call I a predicate nominative. So this is how we use the element that comes under the subject column. So you see, then here again we have what? They are the thieves. They are the thieves. Say, they is acting as a subject. To know where a subject, what do we do? Let's ask who. So, who are the thieves? They. Who are the thieves? They. So, of course, there is what? They is the subject. We say to know about the subject of a sentence, we simply have to ask who is a person, or we ask what, or for animal or thing. And thankfully, when we ask who are the thieves, we have what? They. And they is what? The subject. So you see, that's fine. Again, here we have what? We have the thieves are they. The thieves are they. They comes after are, and I told you when you have a noun or pronoun that comes after is, was, are, and were, and that noun or pronoun talks about the subject or rename the subject, that noun or pronoun is called predicate nominative, or you may call it also subject complement. But predicate nominative is the most specific name for such element. So you see, so because they is the same as thieves, okay, so they is a predicate nominative in this context. Okay, so I repeat again, all the elements that comes under this column should perform two functions. They are to come either as subject, meaning as the words sentences are about, or it should come as predicate nominative, meaning they should come after is, after was, after are, and after were, and they should what? Rename the subject. They should speak about the subject. They should stand instead of the subject, of course. So we call them in that case predicate nominative. The general term is subject complement, but specifically is what? They are called predicate nominative. So whenever you have a noun or a pronoun after is, after was, after are, and the noun or pronoun actually speaks about the subject, so we refer to that noun or pronoun as what? As a predicate nominative, or if you call it again, complement is fine as well again. So we proceed with the other column. So all the element that comes under the object column supposed to come after action verb or after preposition. After action verb or after preposition. So in fact, when you hear object in English, it means a noun or pronoun or element that function as a noun or pronoun, has come after either an action verb or after a preposition. So of course, that is it, of course. So these elements you find here are in fact supposed to come after action verb or after preposition always. That's constant. You not say, for instance, it is me, why the sentence "it is me" wrong is wrong. It is me. Who is there? It is me. It is me. So it is. You have is there. Me? No. We say when we use is or was or are or were, we are supposed to consider the pronoun in the subject column on one hand. If after the is, after the was, after the are, after the were, the pronoun that comes, or the pronoun that fulfills that occupier position actually has to do with the subject, it is kind of renaming the subject, then of course we have to use what? The pronouns in the subject column. Okay? So if you say, for instance, it is me, it's wrong because of the is, the linking verb is. You are supposed to say I. It is I. But no matter we say it is me. It is wrong grammatically, but of course, because it is we use it now, very common. You hear it in movies from even our white folks, but I don't think it's correct. It's not correct. It's grammatically wrong. It's me. Who is there? It's me. It's wrong grammatically speaking. Okay, but of course, use it normally speaking to converse. Okay, it's me is wrong. Should be it's I, because it is I. Is. So after is, you are supposed to have an element that comes under the subject, of course. So let's go to the one that acts as object. So he gave me his book. He gave me his book. You see, again here, why do we use me here, not I? Why don't we say he gave I his book? Because of the action verb gave. We say all the elements that we find under the object column supposed to come after action verbs or after preposition. And thankfully here we see gave is an action verb. So me is not in this case. So he gave me his book. So we are not to say I. We are to say he gave me his book. So that's the rule, of course. So the headmaster praised us for doing well. And you see again us. Why do we use us here? Because of praise. And praise what? Praise is an action verb. So of course using us after praise is correct. You cannot say the headmaster praised we for doing well. That would sound like Creole kind of. But us is correct here. Why? Because of course the of the praise, and praise is an action verb. Kadi sat between John and me. So why do we use me? We use me because it comes after the preposition between. You see, any element that comes after a preposition, if it's a noun, if it's a pronoun, we must of course let it be in the object position. So you cannot say he sat between John and I. It's wrong. Why I is wrong? Because preposition, we are not to use I after preposition. All the elements, all these ones you find here, I have told you, supposed to come either as subject, meaning as the word that a sentence is about, or as predicate nominatives, meaning they should come after is, after was, after are, and what? And should refer back to the subject in that case. And all the elements here are supposed to come what? Are supposed to come after action verb or after preposition. Let that be in your mind. After action verb and after preposition. So the headmaster, Kadi sat between John and me. We use me here, we don't use I. Why? Because of preposition, between. I told you in our last class that in fact we have 150 preposition. We have 96 one word of them, and we have 54 complex of them. And I wonder whether you know all 96. Okay, the in, on, at, above, across, between, among, underneath, cycle, during, before, after, and then around, round, down, up, off, of, at, all these ones. So a number of them. So between is a preposition. So if we are to use personal pronoun, that pronoun is supposed to come in the object position. So Kadi sat between John and me. It should not be between John and I, which is very wrong at that. So we told them the truth. You see, so of course, why do we use them and not they? Because of course, the told. Told is an action verb. Okay? So using them here is correct. That's very essential. So have it in mind. We said, in fact, I told you in our last class that in fact, learning grammar following two prongs. Learning grammar follows two prongs. the structure and the usage, and this is how to use them. We are done with the structure. The structure is how to identify them. That I, that you, that he, she, it, that they and them are what? Are personal pronoun. That's the structure. But then how to use them is a very key thing to have in mind. So very essential. And the usage is what I want you to actually, pay close attention to. So, okay, we look at another key element again. Having in fact looked at the two aspects of personal pronoun, how in fact they can come as subject and they can come as as object, how in fact those that come as subjects could also what come as predicate nominative. I've given you the how that should be, and in fact if you have is, was, are, and were, you can have to use what those that come under the subject position. Those that come as objects, of course, you have to use them after action verb and after preposition. That one is finished, of course. But again, the other thing that's also very, very key, we sometimes mix them up. Not knowing if you and a person take part in an activity, you are to mention the persons first before you. If you and a person take part in an activity, you are to mention the person first before you. So that will, whether the pronoun will come in the it could come as object or subject, will determine where, of course, you use them. So example, I would say, for instance, if I say I and Abu will attend the press conference, I and Abu will attend the press conference is wrong, because we say the rule says, in fact, when you and a person take part in an activity, you are to mention the person first before you. So we have what here? It should be Abu and I will what? Of course, attend the press conference. Abu and I. And why do I say I here? I didn't say me. Why I didn't say, of course, Abu and me will attend the press conference? Because these two words come as subject, and we say the I is a component of a personal pronoun that what should be used as subject or as predicate nominative. So you see, because if you ask question after attend press conference, you have, for instance, Abu and I will attend a press conference. If I ask, for instance, who will attend a press conference? You see, Abu and I. What that means? They come as subject. They come as subject. So when you and a person take part in an activity, you are to mention the name of the person first before mentioning yours later, okay? So here we have what? Karim and I did the work yesterday. You see, Karim and I, and these two elements come what? Come as subjects, because if you ask who did the work yesterday, you have what? You have Karim and I. So they come as subjects. So the pronoun in that compound structure, in that compound subject, supposed to what? Come as, of course, subject, of course. So you see here, not I and Karim, it should be Karim and I. You may want to ask why this? English is a language of respect. There are discourse markers that's of course go out on respect, on being or on sounding respect at that. So by way of respect, you are to name the person first. If you and somebody take part in an activity, you are to name the person first before, of course, you. So we see, and then we have here the teacher punished Joseph and me. Teacher punished Joseph and me. So why do we use me here and not I? Teacher punished Joseph and I. Why? Why don't we say I or we say me? It is because the two elements come afterwards. Punished. And punished what? Punished is an action verb. And we say, we are to use pronouns in the object position when they come after action verb and after preposition. And thankfully here, punish what? Punish is an action verb. So any pronoun, in any personal pronoun coming after an action verb, supposed to be what? In the object position. So the teacher punished Joseph and me. It should not be an I. So not me and Joseph, or not I and Joseph again. So both are, of course, wrong. So if we say me and Joseph, it's wrong for respectability. In terms of grammar, it's fine, but for respect's sake, you are wrong. Okay? To sound respectful, you are wrong. That context. Okay, so having said that, let's now get to some past questions dealing with personal pronouns. Some why questions, on personal pronouns. Let's now put our understanding into perspective. Let us put our understanding to test and see whether we actually comprehend the things we have said about personal pronoun. Dash travel last December 2008. Dash travel last December. A, my dad and I. B, me and my dad. C, I and my dad. D, my dad and me. So, my dad and I. What happens here? Remember, the question is about pronoun in the subject position. Because if you ask at all, who traveled last December, meaning whatever comes before is supposed to be what? In the subject position. So who traveled last December? You see? So we are about the subject. So meaning any pronoun coming there is supposed to be in the subject position. So A, my dad and I is correct. Because we say when you and a person take part in an activity, you are what? You have to mention a person first to sound respectful of course. To sound respectful. So my dad and I is correct. Why we mentioned that first, and because I here we don't say me here. I is the correct kind of pronoun to use here. And B, why B is wrong? Me and my dad is wrong. Well, for two reasons. One, we are not to use me in this context because we are talking about subject. So it should be I. And two, we mention ourselves first before in fact the person with whom we take part, with whom we participate in an activity. So that is wrong. So it's wrong for two reasons. One, we use me, it should not be me here because it's about subject. And of course we mention ourselves first in this case. And C, I and my dad. I and my dad. Well, this one is wrong for respect's sake. Grammatically is fine, but for respect is wrong because we mention ourselves first here, leaving behind the second party. So the second party is supposed to come first, and we are to come what? Later. So it's wrong for only one reason. Grammatically is correct, but for respect's sake is wrong. And yeah, my dad and me, well, is wrong for only one reason. Because what? We use me in this context because the question is about subject, meaning it's about the elements that the sentence is about. Because we ask now, who traveled last December? So everything in front, of course, is supposed to be the element that the sentence is about. So our answer is, of course, A. And then we proceed to question. Question 2. The motorcycle nearly hit Jane and dash. And you realize that, of course, that in fact, hit, this S aspect hit here is an action verb. And we say any pronoun, any personal pronoun coming after an action verb supposed to fall what? In the object position. So the motorcycle nearly hit Jane and who? A, me. That's fine. Because of course me comes in the object position. B, I is wrong because hit is an action verb. C, myself is wrong. And one good thing, don't ever use myself, ourself, himself, themselves as subject. For instance, myself will do it. You are wrong. Herself will do it. It's wrong. Because herself, himself, they are not to be used in that context. We call them, of course, compound personal pronoun, or more specifically they're called reflexive pronoun. Okay? So, and a reflexive pronoun is one what? It's one that, of course, refers back to the subject. It refers back to the subject. It must refers to the subject. So if you always say, myself will do it, then if I ask now, who is it? So we don't have there any subject. We only have myself. But if you say, I myself will do it, that's fine. It is called intensive pronoun, emphasizing the subject. So of course, myself is wrong here. It cannot be used in place of a person. It can be used to refer back to a person. Okay? So the motorcycle nearly hits Jane and myself is wrong. And the Jane and mine, that's possessive, is actually very, very wrong. So answer is A, me. Because me, of course, is the correct form of pronoun to be used after the action verb hit. Hit is an action verb, any personal pronoun coming after it is supposed to fall under the object column. So you see, that's the answer, of course. So A is the answer. Now, our teacher invited Hello and Dash to his house. Again, the same thing applies here. Here, of course, invited is what? Invited is an action verb, and the same thing applies here. Any pronoun coming after an action verb supposed to fall what? Supposed to fall in the object position. So our teacher invited Hello and Dash to his house. We are to look for, a pronoun that falls under this category. A pronoun that falls under the object column, because invited is actually an action verb. So A, we have me. Me is fine. B, we have myself. No, myself is out of the case again. I told you we are not to use myself, themselves, itself, to serve as subject. They are elements that refer back to the subject, okay, or they emphasize the subject. These are the two. You cannot say myself will do it. Kadi and myself will go there. You're wrong, because it should be Kadi and I will go there. You cannot be Kadi and myself will go there. You see, so of course, so B again is wrong. And C, our teacher invited Hello and I, well, is wrong, very, very wrong. Why? Because of course, I supposed to come as subject or as predicate nominative after is, was, and are. And here we have invited, an action verb, and we say the element under the object column supposed to come as object after action verb and after preposition. So I is wrong, and D, he, no, of course, that one is very, very wrong. So James, our teacher invited Hello and he is out of the case, of course. So our answer is what? Our answer is again A. Well, we get down to the other question. Dash was selected to represent our school in the form on blind abuse, November 2011. Dash was selected to represent our school on in the form on blind abuse. So again, the question is about subjects. It's about the subjects. It's about the elements this entire sentence is about. Okay, if I ask, for instance, who was selected to represent our school in the form on blind? Who? And the answer is what? Subject. And then if it's a subject, meaning any pronoun coming there supposed to come as subject, of course. So A, we have Chris and I is fine. Why? Because we say when you and a second party take part in an activity, you are to mention the second party first before you. So Chris and I is fine, is correct for, of course, two reasons. For respectability, we mention the person first and before ourselves. And then again, we have the correct kind of pronoun, I. B, we have Chris and myself. I've told you, you can never ever use myself to actually, stand for a person, except it's referring to somebody else. So you see, self here is wrong, Chris and myself. I say Chris and myself, as I've told you. You should be Chris and I. And C, we have myself and Chris. Again, so very wrong at that. And D, I and Chris. So why is it? It is grammatically correct, because it's conformed to the requirement we are to look for when we want to actually use personal pronoun in the subject column. But of course, because we actually don't sound respectful, that makes this option D wrong. I and Chris. It should be Chris and I. So our answer again here is what? Is option A. They gave the money to Judy and Dash. They gave the money to Judy and Dash. So again here we have forget about the issue of gave. It's far. Let's look at the nearest element, the nearest component that actually will require us to consider a personal pronoun that comes as object. So to, or to in this case, to is a preposition. To is a preposition, and we say, the element we have here supposed to what? Supposed to come after action verb and after what? Preposition. So you see, and of course, to is a preposition. So by all indication, we are to use a pronoun, a personal pronoun that come as object. So they gave the money to Judy and Dash. A and I is wrong because I is supposed to come as subject. Then B, Judy and me is fine. Me is, of course, in the object, shall I say, place. C, we have she, very, very wrong at that. And D, they. So, of course, they gave the money to Judy and what? And me. So, our answer is what? Is B in this context. Okay? So, we come to the other question. I will never let out the secret. I will never let out the secret. November 2010. And here, actually, very tricky question. This question is not asking us about subject because we already have there the subject. Let's ask, for instance, I will never let out the secret. If I ask, for instance, who will never let out the secret? I, meaning the component that the sentence is talking about is there. So meaning the question is not about subject, of course. And here, thankfully, the first one we have A between you and I. It means that between is a preposition. So meaning we are to find the personal pronoun. We are to find an option that, of course, conform to the elements that we find under the one that comes under the one that the one we get under the object column. So here, between you and I is wrong. Why? Because between is a preposition. So I shouldn't be the case. And B, between you and me, well, that's fine. It's fine for two reasons. Because when you and a second party take part in an activity, you are to mention the second party first in the naming list. So here, you is fine and me is correct too because they both come after what? After the position between. And thankfully, it's about two people here. And then C, we have among the two of us. It's wrong because among, we use among to talk about three and above. So it's wrong. Among two of us is wrong. Two of us. And D, amidst the two of us is wrong as well again. So the best option is what? Is B, between you and me. Between you and me. Of course, that's how we end the first segment of our class about personal pronoun, about pronoun reference or pronoun antecedent, and I've told you in fact why they are important. They are very, very crucial. Everything doing with grammar is so crucial if you actually look carefully at the structure and carefully at the usage. You will see how it is important. Remember, English is a language. Wherever you learn is practicable. You can use it. You can use it to speak, to write. It helps. It builds your confidence in speaking and writing because you know what is right and what is wrong. So we are going for a break. When we come back, we will of course look at some pronunciation.
Since the inception of the West African Senior Secondary School Certificate Examination, university requirement has largely called for 5 subjects. Mandatory among these are English language and mathematics. Every year, thousands of students run into the cause of either having to resit for not getting credits on English and mathematics or painfully changing career path owing to same. To help modify this narrative, Star Television presents on your screen Learning Garage, a platform that guarantees better performance in English language and mathematics with a team of experienced teachers. To this solution, you all are invited, especially those facing WASC. Learning Garage comes to you on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Repeat broadcasts are screened on Saturdays from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. and on Sundays from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Join host Ali Sonta Kamara.
If you mean such element, then of course we'll say the waters of the world in that regard.
And Babatunde Gaira Lamin on these days to make a world of difference.
Fraction that has a numerator which is less than the denominator, we term it as a proper fraction.
Welcome back. If you are joining us, this is Learning Garage, the program that helps you build your grammar very well, speak very well, and of course, it helps you, live a better life. Because by being able to speak well, by being able to write well, of course, is one element that will take you through life itself. You will, of course, traverse the earth and do well. So we have done with the first aspect of our class, which was, in fact, about pronoun. And also we looked at one kind of pronoun, personal pronoun. And then we also looked at some past questions. And then I have told you, in fact, learning grammar, you have to follow two prongs: the structure and the usage. Now, let's come to pronunciation. That's very, very key. What I'll first begin with is Grage, the title, a component making our title, our program title. So, of course, it is not garage. Garage is not garage. Garage is garage. Garage is garage at that. Don't ever say garage. Well, that's what we say here. But actually, the typical phonetic pronunciation is garage. My car is at the garage. Garage, not garage. So, of course, that's the first element we start. Let that come to things to look at. Today, we are going to look at connected speech. Connected speech and an element of connected speech. Okay? That is coalescent assimilation. Coalescent assimilation basically has to do with when two sounds which are in fact opposite each other, unite and form a new sound. We speak of assimilation, we speak of coalescent assimilation. When two opposite sounds come together and form a third sound. So imagine here we have don't you. Don't ends in, of course, in T, and the preceding word begins with Y. Okay? Whenever a word ends in T and the other word coming begins with Y, when you combine them, you have to pronounce the T and Y as CH. So it should be don't you. It's not don't you. Don't you, not don't you. We call this one coalescent assimilation. So when you have two adjacent phonemes or two adjacent sounds, coming together and merge into a third type, into a third sound. So when a word ends in T and the other word coming begins in Y, if you combine them, you have what? CH. So it's what? Don't you. It's don't you. Don't you. Don't you know? Again, we have won't you. Again, T in won't, and of course we have T in won't, and we have Y in you. So when a word ends in T and the other word begins in what? In Y, if you combine them, they give you a new sound. So as what? Won't you? Won't you come? Won't you? Next, when a word ends in D and the other word coming begins in Y, when you combine the D and Y, they merge into a third sound, giving you what? J, the J sound. J. Did you is did you at that? Did you? And next you have again would you, because the WOLD, in fact, don't ever call the L sound. It's not would or could or even should. The should is should. The would is would. The could is could. So not oo. There are two sounds we must not pronounce. The oo and the L sound are out. The oo is O. So COULD is could. And WOULD is would. Don't please call the L. Would. And of course SHOULD is should at that. So we have should be would. Would you? Would you? Would you? So when a word ends in D and the other word coming begins in Y, when you combine them, they merge into the third type, giving you the J sound. J. So would you? Would you? Would you is called coalescent assimilation. Okay, we have again another one. This year. This year, we have a word ending in S. Okay, sibilant sound. Or what we refer to as fricative. Fricative is a sound that what you can produce and can continue. Sh, we call them fricative. Or any word with much S sound is called sibilant. So this, and we have the other word beginning with Y. So they give you one sound, sh, sh. So we have what? We have this year. We will do it this year. We will do it this year. Please have this one in mind. We will do it this year. One component, which in fact I have not written here, which is very, very key. We call it, of course, linking, or shall I say, intrusion, intrusive R. Because vowels are difficult to pronounce in succession. We cannot call them, for instance, let me give you an example about this element. If you have blue and green, blue, oo. The word blue ends in oo, and oo is a vowel sound. And the other word begins what? Also in vowel sound. And, blue, oo, and, So, it is difficult to pronounce vowels in succession. Normally what we do is we attach W in between them, or we attach Y in between them, and even we attach even R in between them. So you cannot say blue and green. You see, it's strenuous to call it, very difficult to pronounce. Blue and green. When the transition from the U to the R is very strenuous. Blue and green. It should be what? Blue and green. Blue and green. Blue and green. So we attach W between what? Between the U and the R sound to be blue and green at that. You see, because vowels are difficult to pronounce in succession. Now, one very key thing to look for again is how to pronounce the THE word. I believe this is a big problem. The THE. We can pronounce THE in two ways, and not knowing actually how. Because some people say D. And actually, TH is the TH. The sound is not D. Is It could be a voice dental. Sound. Voice dental fricative, and voice dental fricative. The. So when you say fricative, it means a sound that you can pronounce, or you can produce, or can continue. Can continue, fricative. Okay, and we say dental because we of course have to pronounce it using the tongue, and the tongue of course we of course have a link with the teeth, all about the teeth. So of course dental. So it's a fricative because of course we can continue pronouncing it. So of course this one is voiceless. It's a voiceless dental fricative in this case. But of course we say the is a voiced dental fricative. So the TH first, leave out the E. The TH is so don't ever say D. The man is coming. The man is here. Where is the D? We don't have the letter D. You see, D is a plosive. It's an alveolar plosive. D. What is alveolar plosive? Alveolar plosive, of course, when your tongue touch the upper ridge, the rough edge the rough edge you find behind your upper teeth. That rough edge is called alveolar ridge. It's called ridge. Okay, so when you take your tongue, when a sound is produced from that aspect, from that chamber, we call that sound, of course, in this case, alveolar sound. If of course, because it's we stop and then we release, it is what? It's plosive. So plosive sound are the ones you stop and release, like a p, p, d, d, t, t. So you stop and release, it's called plosive. So the place where the sound comes from is called, of course, called place of articulation. So because the tongue touches the ridge, and the sound that comes out is plosive, it's called what? It's called alveolar plosive. So d. So the TH is not D. It's a dental sound. That's the first place. Now, there are two ways to pronounce this word, THE. We are over with the TH sound. Don't ever say D, because it's not D, it's TH, okay? So let's now look at how to pronounce the THE, the word itself, the article, the definite article, THE, how to pronounce the THE. We can pronounce it in two ways, one of two ways. The first way is the. The other way is the. The. But when do we say the? When do we say the? We will pronounce the THE as the if the word coming after the THE begins with a consonant sound. If the word coming after the THE begins with a consonant sound, we are to pronounce the THE as the. Example, the man. The man. The man. Why? M-A-N, man. And the spelling begins with a consonant. M is a consonant letter. So we can say what? The man. You don't say the man. The man. The man. You see? The school. The school. The school. The thing. You see? The light at that. L. The light. You see? So when do you pronounce THE as the? The. We can pronounce THE as the when, of course, the word coming after the THE begins with a vowel sound. Remember, we have 5 vowels in orthography, 5 vowels in the alphabet. But linguistically, there are 20 vowels. So the A, E, I, O, U are the ones you find in orthography or in alphabet. Okay? And the sounds for A could be A, and the sounds for, of course, E could be A or E, like that. So we will pronounce THE as the when the word coming after the THE begins with a vowel sound. So imagine apple, A-P-P-L-E, apple. You say what? The apple, the apple. She gave me the apple, and not the apple, the apple. Remember, if you are actually following me, I told you that in fact vowels are difficult to pronounce in succession. Imagine the E is a vowel sound. A in apple, a vowel again. So E and A are vowel. So to call them, to pronounce them, in succession is difficult. The apple. See, you have a gap there. The apple. That is gap between the E and A. So what we do always, we can attach W, we can attach Y, or we can even attach R. They are the 3 linking sounds we use to link, of course, to link vowels in this context, of course. So let's just try Y in this case. Y, the Y. So the apple. See, it's now, it's very easy to pronounce than saying the apple. The apple, you have a gap there. So the apple. The apple. The apple. The man. The apple. The man. Again, the onion. The onion. The onion. The onions are good. The onions are good. So when the next word begins with a vowel, and when the next word begins with a consonant sound. So of course, this is how we bring down the curtain for today for Learning Garage. Join me again next class where we'll look at interesting topics. Goodbye.
Since the inception of the West African Senior Secondary School Certificate Examination, university requirement has largely called for 5 subjects. Mandatory among these are English language and mathematics. Every year, thousands of students run into the cause of either having to resit for not getting credits on English and mathematics or painfully changing career path owing to same. To help modify this narrative, Star Television presents on your screen Learning Garage, a platform that guarantees better performance in English language and mathematics with a team of experienced teachers. To this solution, you all are invited, especially those facing WASC. Learning Garage comes to you on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Repeat broadcasts are screened on Saturdays from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. and on Sundays from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Join host Ali Sonta Kamara.
If you mean such element, then of course we'll say the waters of the world in that regard.
And Babatunde Gaira Lamin on these days to make a world of difference.
Action that has a numerator which is less than the denominator, we term it as a proper fraction.